Thank you. Thanks for helping with that. Was there anything in there that surprised you? No.
Yeah, less violent.
Yeah, maybe they're talking about a global. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. So I want to just bring up our social principle. I think we have a slide for that too. There it is. I've kind of paraphrased this and reduced it down, but God has granted us stewardship of creation. We should meet these stewardship duties through acts of loving care and respect. Let us recognize the responsibility of the church and its members to place a high priority on changes in economic, political, social, and technological lifestyles to support a more ecologically equitable and sustainable world, leading to a higher quality of life for all of God's creation. We support and encourage social policies that serve to reduce and control the creation of industrial byproducts and waste, facilitate the safe processing and disposal of toxic and nuclear waste, and move toward the elimination of both. Encourage reduction of municipal waste, provide for appropriate recycling and disposal of municipal waste, and assist the cleanup of polluted air, water, and soil. So our social principle, our United Methodist social principle, compels us to address climate change. And how would we do this? Well, as a global church, the agencies of the United Methodist Church have pledged to achieve net zero emissions by 2050 across the various ministry agencies and facility operations and investments. We also, at General Conference, they passed this resolution along with net zero that supports churches doing energy audits annually. And as local and regional churches or fellowships or conferences, there are many things that we can also do right now, as the video referred to. The Project Drawdown video showed us that the world has changed rapidly in the last 50 years. Global population is high, over half the people live in cities, our economy has gone from regional to global. We consume 3 times more food, 2 times more water, and 3 times more fossil fuels. We have supported this through forest clearings, more agriculture, and an overuse of our water resources. So we have done some abuse to our planet in the name of what we call progress. And all of these disruptions have caused subtle changes to the atmosphere. With an increase in CO2 emissions, greenhouse gases are now higher than they have been in the last 3 to 5 million years. Greenhouse gas increases cause the temperature of the planet to rise. So our task is to understand the sources and mitigate the use of greenhouse gases to reduce the temperature of the Earth. I think I have a slide. Here's our greenhouse gas effect. You can see these are actually the little greenhouse gas clouds that form. Whoops. And so what happens is, greenhouse gases are coming from fossil fuels, industrial chemistry, burning trees and forests, methane in agriculture, industrial mining, fertilizers, nitrous oxides, and fluorocarbons. And this slide shows us the contributors of the greenhouse gases. Electricity making, that's coal plants and gas manufacturing, contribute 25%. Agriculture, that's both animal and plant farming, contributes 24%. Industry, which is like steel mills and other industry that does manufacturing, and the way they have to get rid of their waste, causes 21%. Transportation, 14%. Building, 6%, and other 10%. I don't know if any of that surprises you, but what surprised me in that list was transportation. I thought transportation would be the top. But we have, there's 2 ways we can respond to this effect of greenhouse gases. We can adapt and we can mitigate. We can adapt through means of things like air conditioning, cooling centers, migration, allowing migration for people that have come from countries that where they cannot tolerate the earth changes anymore, creating shade islands in our cities. We can also adapt to changing our schedules. So we may have to become more nocturnal when we can't tolerate the heat of the day. But then also mitigating, using cleaner energy sources, replacing coal and gas produced energy with sources from solar and wind and hydro. And we could use more energy efficient appliances in our homes and buildings. And we can be more diligent in just how we use energy. The average household uses 1,000 kilowatt hours per month, which equates to 16,800 pounds of CO2 being released into the atmosphere. We can also do something called, by protecting and adding something called carbon sinks. And a carbon sink absorbs carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. It's the ocean, the soil, the forests. These are the world's largest carbon sinks. Forests absorb about 2.6 tons of carbon dioxide each year. The Earth's soil absorbs about a quarter of all human emissions each year, with a large portion, though, of it being stored in the permafrost and peatland. So again, the permafrost is melting. The ocean has sucked up about a quarter of the carbon dioxide released into the atmosphere since we began burning fossil fuel for energy during the Industrial Revolution. Phytoplankton are the main reason the ocean is one of the biggest carbon sinks. These microscopic marine algae and bacteria play a huge role in the world's carbon cycle, absorbing about as much carbon as the plants and trees on land combine. But plastic pollution in our ocean means plankton are eating microplastics, which is impacting the rate at which they can trap carbon in the ocean. So some other things we can do. We can educate, not only educate ourselves, but we can educate our people. I want to hold up a book. This is called Wake Up World. It was written by a pastor, a retired pastor, Reverend Robert Gerhart, and his wife, Anita. They actually happen to live here in Spokane. So they very generously, they did this. They wrote this book as a way for United Methodists and other faith congregations to be able to teach a class in their own congregations, in their own settings. I taught this class. It was very easy to do through the resources that they provided, and they have a ton of resources in here. Anyway, the nice thing about this is that they donated 15 books. So if you're one of the lucky 15, take one of these books and take it back to your congregation and start a class with this. And if you need any help with it, let me know, because I've done it. Let's see. I think I have another. Right, here's some other things we can do. We can hold creation care. We can add creation care into our worship outlines and liturgies and prayers and hymns. We can perform, some sustainability and justice endeavors and accountability. One of the ways that we're going to be able to do this is through probably some documents that will be produced at our local conference levels to do these energy audits as part of the net zero plan. Let's see, we can assess our surroundings and people and community and figure out what we can do, what we can change, and how we can make an impact. And the Earth Keepers program, which is part of our global ministries, Earth Keepers can help you put a program and a project into place. I've put together a project, I think Rhonda did too, yeah. And there's online training for that. It's an excellent, excellent source. You can go green in your church. We have eliminated all the plastic and paper, one-time use products in our church. We don't use paper or plastic cups or plastic forks or paper napkins. We replace them all with just reusable dishes and cloth napkins. Somebody takes the bag of cloth napkins that were used home and they launder them and they bring them back each week. It's no big deal. clearly label recycling bins so that people are encouraged to recycle. You can change out your light bulbs to LEDs. You can check for dripping faucets and leaking toilets. Also, you can plant native plants in pollinator gardens. Native plants are more drought resistant, and pollinators facilitate the insects being able to do their jobs. You might consider doing a xeriscape, or in this town it's called Spokanescaping, because Spokane has actually created a program. You might check with your local cities. We actually get a rebate for creating a Spokanescape or a xeriscape, which will reduce dependency on water from our aquifer. Consider installing solar panels. There are grants that can help you with these things. And actually I have a copy of these ideas and resources for you, so you can check these out. Drive your gas-powered vehicle less. Carpool, walk, ride a bike, maybe get an electric car. A gallon of gas, 1 gallon of gas, which a gallon is 7 or 8 pounds. A gallon of gas emits 20 pounds of pollution into the atmosphere that stays there for centuries. This was a big one for me to switch, use aluminum cans instead of plastic. I am a Diet Dr. Pepper drinker every day. And I was used to pulling out my plastic bottle every day, and when I read it, I was like, oh my goodness, I had to switch to aluminum cans. You can use reusable straws or no straws at all. Be an advocate for legislation that protects wildlife and ecosystems. Write your legislators and support climate justice policies. Also, invest wisely. Research your investment choices for socially responsible practices and clean energy, and invest in industries that promote human and environmental rights. Also, you can do a carbon footprint. There's some resources out there. Here's one from Berkeley. I have a number of resources I'm going to be able to give you on a paper. Sorry, I had to print. I would like to be able to put this out on some website, but I didn't know where that was at, so I went ahead and printed them for today. But okay, well, we can add to that. But I do have a handout that can give you a copy of all these ideas and a lot of resources. There's some wonderful books out there. Green Faith. Let me see. I brought a few. This book, All We Can Save, has some wonderful stories in it. Wonderful, amazing stories that really touch on human justice issues within climate change. Yes, Wake Up World. Green Faith by Fletcher Harper, a really good book. Also, Climate Church, Climate World by Jim Antal. This talks a lot about what the UCC Church has done. They are way ahead of us. They are amazing in their quest. And then this is just a favorite of mine if you're looking for kind of theological poetry and prayers. Earth's Echo, a beautiful book. So, if I can get another video to play, I want to just play one thing for you. It's a song that is in the Faith We Sing, and it's a video I've used in my congregation a few times. Let's see if we can make it happen.